That took a while. What's going on, guys? This is Angelo from No Reserves Radio. Here with me, as always, Alex, and fantasy episode time. I don't want to talk about the Packers disappointing me. I'm good.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, like I guess we can just do a small recap on that one because we were missing that pick. But yeah, the Packers. Angelo was on the Packers -2.5. The Packers lost. So +2.5. My bad. But the Packers lost by more than 2.5. So I get that one, and I am like 1 win closer to you. I'm still like 6 wins down, but that's for
Jor-
another episode.
Jordan Love threw 3 picks. I couldn't believe it, man.
And he had some really bad throws. Like, and I'm just gonna rant here because this lost me a week. But I'm not sure if you saw. I'm not sure if you saw, but there was a big reception by Christian Watson. So he got the ball at like I think it was the 50s or so, and then he caught it and he started running with it towards the end zone, and he's like I think he's 15 yards away from the red zone, like no one is catching him, and Marcus Peters makes or Marcus Epps, I'm not sure, it was one of the two DBs. He makes a play on him in which he catches his collarbone, so that is I think it's his collarbone. Like he grabs him by like the shirt and so on and throws him to the ground, and that's the only way that he tackles him. So they get a penalty, of course, but that would have been a touchdown. Like we should start making that a touchdown because like there's no way no one would have stopped him if he wasn't like illegally thrown to the ground, and like that touchdown would have won me 1 week, or actually like in 2 leagues I would have won with that touchdown. So yeah, I'm pissed about that one.
Of course you are.
That's like a six, a around 8 point
Point
swing.
swing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I lost by like I think it was 7 points if not mistaken, or yeah, seven and change to Ollie in our 16 team league. So pretty pissed off about that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's football. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game last week. Last night. Packers don't look great. They made like the Las Vegas offense look like okay. So that's an indictment on you. And the Las Vegas offense looks okay-ish. Like they don't look bad, but they don't look good as either. I thought they would
Funny,
look worse versus this defense, but
funny enough, you had that. I had, because I am a Bengals fan, so obviously I have a lot of Jamar Chase in a lot of different leagues. And I lost a league by less than a point with Jamar Chase on my team. Have you ever been in the situation where you're just praying for a stat correction win?
oh, I mean, back-to-back weeks. I actually like 3 weeks in a row I've been in that situation. One of them I was wishing to not have a stat correction loss because I was winning by point 0.3 or by point 0.2, and I end up losing by point 0.3 because it's a point 0.5 stat correction in the IDP league that we're both in. And then in our Dynasty Nas League, I won by point 0.1 to Luke, so I was hoping for not a stat correction when we played there. And then the week after, I lost by point 0.3, so I was hoping for one. Yeah, a lot of close games so far. And seems like you're experiencing that as well.
Yeah, except in the opposite direction. Like the leagues that I have lost close games, I'm like 1-4 in, and I've lost 2 games that way. It's rough, dude.
Yeah, that's very rough. There was like I did pretty bad in fantasy this week. I think I've lost three, four, five, six. I've lost 6 leagues out of a total of I think it's 10, 9 or 10. So I lost quite a bit this week.
So in my money leagues, I actually was pretty bust, especially the one that I picked up Derek Carr in. I just like admitted like that's a lost cause. But In the other league where I have Burrow, Chase, Hall, and Walker and CD Lamb, I'm just like, yes, I got a chance to win this one. I saw the
Yeah,
San Francisco 49er defense on waivers and I put in a claim. I was like, yes, please let me add the 49ers defense to this. We got this.
yeah. In my money leagues, I like one of them I won pretty easily. The other one I lost by on Thursday night football because he had Fields and DJ Moore combined for
Oh, God. You got victimized by that?
82 points. And then he added on top of that, he added Tyreek Hill with 32. So he outscored me with those three players. So that one was done. Like I had some hope when EDN scored like 36.4 points. So I had a sliver of hope. And then Hill happened and I just didn't open the league again.
Ah,
And then the other one I lost by 7.9 and I had Christian Watson. So yeah.
ooh.
I could have used that touchdown in two leagues.
All right. So you want to talk about the injuries to your son, Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, not great. I guess we can start with the injuries. There's like four big ones. We just got news on another one as we started
Yeah.
the podcast. But like the first one, I guess we can start with the QB. Anthony Richardson, I believe he's gonna be out for a while. The team is preparing to be without him for a while. I've seen 1 to 2 months right now, because of
True.
AC joint. Yeah, yeah. It's his throwing, like elbow as well. Not elbow.
Shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder. My bad. It's his throwing shoulder as well. I mean, some people will look at it and look at like all of his injuries so far and say that it's because of his playing style. I would sort of push back a bit there because I've seen countless QBs take the hit that he took last Sunday and be okay with it. It's just a freak injury, really. And yeah, he's gonna be out for a while. He's gonna be on IR apparently, and that's probably for the best. He needs to heal up that shoulder, otherwise he will do more damage to it. So yeah, Gardner Minshew, he's gonna be a starter for a while.
He's probably the better Colt starter this year.
I would push back on it. Like Anthony Richardson has been pretty good.
For like a half.
Like the game that he played in full, like the second game that he played in full, he was pretty good. Like the whole game.
How many games has he played in full?
Two.
Oh, okay, 2 games. Okay. Okay,
Yeah, it's not like an ideal start of a career, but whenever he's out there, he always looks good. So I'm not that
uh,
worried about him. I think he's pretty good.
uh, uh-huh. Okay, okay, okay.
They're still gonna push back on it. I mean, he's clearly not doing as well as. I mean, I think it's close for what they do, but yeah, he's not doing
As
as great
well.
as your guy.
CJ Stroud, baby!
Yeah.
Not CJ Stroud.
Is he like the leading candidate for offensive rookie of the year right now?
Um, that's actually he should be, but honestly, that's a tough competition. You could argue that Bijan has a case. You could argue Addison or Jay Flowers has a case.
I guess Addison right now with the. I guess we can jump into it next. But yeah, Addison probably has a case right now with Justin Jefferson being out at least 4 weeks. It's an hamstring injury for him. Team wants to be careful with him. They are 1-4, so I've seen some not reports, but like speculation on like if the Vikings don't win enough games, does he come back at all this season because he didn't get the extension? So does he just sit out for the remaining of the year? I don't think
Uh,
so. I think Jefferson is the type of guy who will push to play, even
maybe
if the team is down.
maybe a certain playoff contender should send him to a certain tanking team.
Maybe a certain tanking team should make him like a good offer, not offer him like scraps.
Scraps!
Yeah.
Bring very good pieces for that Justin Jefferson.
Oh, sure thing.
I
Sure
was
thing.
I was offering you a top 5 pick and wide receivers. It.
You actually didn't mention which pick it was. You mentioned like your pick straight up, which big no no, or two firsts,
Big
which
no
I
no.
assume
What do you mean big no no?
I would never trade
I
JJ for like the 102. I've made that mistake before.
You would never trade JJ for the 102.
Never. I think that's just there's no one in this draft that is as the potential like JJ as shown. It's not only like okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, he is at the same like realm of hype as like a Chase was back then, but it's a different thing to actually like produce. And JJ has produced and has been like the best wide receiver in the league. So yeah, I would never trade him for that. Now, if you trade me like your first, Austin's first, Pickens, and I don't know, something else, maybe I'll ponder it. Or just trade me
Wow.
Chase, I guess.
Wow. But I like my Jamar Chase.
You do. And your
And
Jamar Chase will make sure you lose the 101 to me.
maybe. But hey, I still got a Jamar Chase.
You sure do. But I guess like implications on this is KJ Osborne becomes a flex play probably, and it's Addison season right now. I mean, I
So
think he will be called
once
upon.
again, if you are in redraft or if you even if you're in dynasty, this is why you make rookie wide receiver selections with your middle round picks. Because an injury like Justin Jefferson happens, and now suddenly Addison is bolstered to the number one wide receiver on a team that can't run the football and is constantly down football games. So that's how you get fantasy points. That's how
Yeah.
you get fantasy points.
And it's like it's not even that Edison hasn't really been producing, even with
Yeah.
JJ on the field. I mean, he has like in our scoring systems, which are mostly PPR, he has like double-digit point scores in like every single game that he has played outside of week 4, in which he only had a target.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, he has been putting 16.1, 16.2, 12.2, 18.4. He's also like a red zone threat. I mean, he has 3 touchdowns in 5 games, so I mean, I think it fills up for Edison. Edison is gonna be what people thought QJ would be, Quentin Johnston would be when Mike Williams went down.
How would you rank the wide receivers in this class up to this point?
Oh. I think with like the developments and the production that the players have shown, I think you sort of have to put Edison at one. So I would go Edison, but like the rest, I think I would put JSN at second still. Then I would probably. I'm blanking on the wide receivers. I'm missing one at
Quit
least.
JSN, Quinn Johnston,
Oh,
Zay
Quentin Johnson is
Flowers.
last.
Quinn Johnston's this guy.
He's probably going to be behind. I don't know. He's going to be
Reed.
behind Michael Wilson at this point.
He's gonna be behind Mike. So
Uh,
if
I
you
think I think it's like Edison, Zay Flowers. My bad. Edison, JSN, Zay Flowers. Then I sort of think you have to put Puka there. Puka
no
has to
Puka's
be there.
not your one,
No, Puka is my. He's between my 3 and my 4 right now. I think like if I wasn't so afraid of the profile, I would put him at 3 right now. But I still think I'm taking Zay Flowers because I still don't trust Puka as a long-term option. So yeah, Zay at the 3, Puka at the 4, and then at the 5, it's gotta be it's between Tank Dell or Josh Downs for me.
interesting.
Josh Downs. I think I'm going Josh Downs. He's my guy.
Josh Downs is your guy.
Josh Downs is my guy. Always has been, always will be.
I don't know.
How would you rank them?
Right now,
Yeah.
uh, hmm, good question. I probably would go Addison first. I would go Zay Flowers second. We're doing this right now. I'd probably go Reed third. I'd probably go JSN fourth.
You put Jaden Reed super high.
He looked pretty good.
I mean, not
Outside,
last week. He has sort of like
no one looked good last week, including Jordan Love.
Watson looked okay.
He got 3 receptions and most of it came on one play.
It is true, but it also like Love missed him on that touchdown at the end. And I think he also missed them on a few plays before. Oh, my bad. I had a sneeze. And he also had like I think Watson had a drop, I believe, as well, if not mistaken. So could have been a bigger day.
But yeah, that's generally like I'm honestly at a point where, and I understand like going into the season, the sell wasn't JSN would start the season and look amazing. That's not why you drafted JSN. You drafted him for the talent and that he would eventually usurp Tyler Lockett. But at the same time, wide receiver production matters. And not seeing that, granted, you could, you know, do it away and say it's just his injury that he still hasn't fully recovered from. But not seeing the production is still you got to see that production. That's basically what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think I think if I could get JSN at a discounted price, I would because I do think the talent is there. But I won't say that I'm not concerned that he hasn't produced to this point.
Yeah, it's not been pretty right now. If you were expecting anything from him, I
Right.
do think like as the season goes on, he gets more involved. But I
He,
don't expect
he
him to
has
have
to.
like a solid role like throughout the season. It's just gonna be the flex guy. Now, would it shock me if like there were some like bye week adjustments and he gets more involved in the game plan now? Not really, and that's sort of why I'm still pondering making an offer for him in our league because I do think that that might be a thing now that he's like more healthy, he gets more involved in the game plan. But like the problem to me is the targets. I'm not sure, and he has been getting like a solid amount of targets. I mean, like throughout 4 weeks, he has what like 12, like he has 20 targets if not mistaken. So that's 5 targets
That
a game. That's not like what you would want from your alpha wide receiver, but it's not a bad number of targets for a rookie.
no, you're right about that. It's not.
Especially one that's the third option in the passing game. But yeah, I do think like you sort of have to put Puka in there
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, I forgot about Puka.
I wouldn't take Jaden Reed. I have Jaden Reed. I would gladly trade Jaden Reed for Puka.
Gladly, really? I don't
Oh,
know about
gladly,
that.
gladly. Just no one would take him away from me. So yeah,
Hmm.
I can take Pickens for Jaden Reed.
You can take Pickens for Jalen Reed.
Just saying.
God.
We actually just should really do this. Let me see if there's an there is one. So this should have been on like to start the show, but
Oh well.
congratulations to Angelo for winning in our like
Oh
16 team league
no.
for the first time in I believe it's 2 or 3 years right now. So he
3
has won his
years.
first matchup in 3 fantasy football seasons. Major
Oh,
props to him. Major props to him. In a major rebuild, he has finally, like, accidentally won a game. So, congrats.
accidentally he won a game.
All it took was for Brees to score almost 30, for Pickens to score almost 30, and for Chase to probably break our league's record of points in a game. So, yeah, major props. Those three players actually, like, made out, what, 95% of your points scored this week. So,
Yeah, I
and you
could
still
add
don't have a
more
QB.
too. And I still don't have a QB. Yeah.
It's just,
Oh.
it's just the way things go sometimes.
I did it without a QB. Ain't that some crap?
I guess we should continue on the news of the injuries. We're still missing two. Devon A Chain right now. He
Oh
isn't.
no, not A Chain.
Oh, everyone who like. Oh no, no, he's gonna be. I've heard arguments that he might break like. He might break 1,500 yards this season rushing. Like,
Oh
ah,
no.
that sure seems difficult now. But yeah, he is. His knee injury is actually serious, apparently.
Oh, that's not
He
good.
left. He left the. I mean, it's serious to the point in which he will miss games because there was some like discussions there since he hurt his knee. I believe it's the MCL.
Mm.
And he did come back on the field and played. But now, yeah, McDaniel's is pretty like he is not hiding it that an injury that will take him out for a while. I believe he's waiting for a second opinion before making a call between being on IR or just being out a couple of weeks. But yeah, it's going to be out several weeks. I believe it's the reports with an MCL injury. He might have aggravated it more by playing after taking the hit on the knee, I believe.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm not gonna say he's injury prone because I don't really think that's the case. But one of his concerns was that he's probably too small for a like full time role in the league and to get like a massive workload. And I mean, so far in camp, he had an injury that knocked him out like for the first game of the week of the season as well, and for most of the preseason, if not mistaken. And now he's taken a hit that probably takes him out 4 weeks. So I guess like you can't really like say that okay, his breakaway runs are part of his game, so we can't take that away. And then like look at him and not say that the injuries aren't part of his game as well, since like that was one of his concerns. Like the dude's really small. That's why he's so fast. Like he's fast because he's an actually like a great athlete, but he's small. So that was always a knock on him. And yeah, two injuries in like a short period of time. It's doesn't bode well for him.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's man, and you hate to see it because he is quite honestly one of the fastest running backs in the league, and potential has the potential to be one of the most explosive running backs in the league. So
Oh,
it's just
sure,
rough to see.
it's fun. It's fun to watch for sure.
Oh yeah,
I've heard this comparison that is like people look at him and think that he's really small, but he's so fast that it's really hard to stop an object that fast. And then I've read a comment that it's like everyone with kids knows this because there's times when your 4 year old just runs at you so fast that you can even like stop him. So yeah, I've seen A Chain now compared to a 4 year old. That's perfect.
AJ now. Well,
But yeah, this probably like I wouldn't say it puts a major dent on its dynasty value, but it puts somewhat of a dent at this point. Like he was starting to reach running back three value in keep trade cut.
he's at 4 right now. Actually, if you looked at the thing I said where Brees Hall was third, A Chain is right behind him.
Yeah, and that's like I don't know how it jumped that high, but okay. He was like 8 last week when we talked about this, I believe. He
So do
somehow
you?
surpassed Kenneth Walker. So,
Yeah, Kenneth Walker is down bad.
but like, why? He's running back 12 on the season. He was running back 3 before the bye week. Like,
Yeah, but no, look at his rankings. He's like running. He might be like a fringe RB1 in Dynasty right now.
that's so dumb.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up in real time.
Oh, I
See
am
where
looking at it. He's running back 7.
he's running
If you
back. Yeah.
toggle Superflex on, like, there's no way that I would actually like trade Kenneth Walker for Jonathan Taylor right now.
You wouldn't.
No, because historically, like running backs on second contracts, that's when they start to decline. So
Correct.
for sure, I wouldn't throw
Jonathan
anything
Taylor
for Jonathan
hasn't
Taylor.
started his second contract though. To be fair.
Technically, did sign it, so I guess it starts next year. So,
Yeah.
and this year, I mean, they're apparently going to ramp him up slowly. So does he only start to produce like midway throughout the season? And at this point, like
That
Walker
would suck.
has been great. I mean, I know there's concerns about Charbonnet, and he has been involved more, and so on and so forth. But Walker still looks like far and away the best running back in that team. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
like, I probably like it's Bijan, it's CMC, and then it's maybe Brees Hall,
It's Brees. He's
and
coming for everyone.
then it's Kenneth. I think like Brees and Kenneth should be like
What?
pretty close, but I
Watch it.
understand
Watch
Brees.
out, CMC. Brees is coming for you.
I mean, I doubt it, but
No, he is. I'm telling you.
he's
Brees
still
Hall.
like quite a bit away from him.
He's coming.
Like it's ridiculous that a 27-year-old running back is still like ranked as high as Christian McCaffrey is. But I mean, I sort of understand it. Like there's at this point there's no running back. It should be running back 1 to be honest. If we're being like real about this, and I would, I think Christian McCaffrey should be running back 1 in Dynasty, even at his age. And I
Ahead of
understand why
Bijan?
he isn't. Yeah, I understand why he isn't, but it just gives you such a positional advantage there. Like he's
He really
automatically
does,
scoring
though.
you 20.
You're not wrong. He's really freaking good, dude. Like,
And like 20 at this point is like it's his floor at this point.
it's crazy. Christian McCaffrey is just so freaking good, dude.
He is. And like as long as he doesn't get injured, and right now he seems pretty healthy. I mean, the thing is like the Niners will probably blow out quite a few teams this year. But at this point, like even in blowouts, McCaffrey is still playing late in those games. Like they are not really giving touches, a whole lot of touches for Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell and so on and so forth. Like last week they gave him to, but like the game was done by like halfway through the third quarter. If the game was like a 20-point game, I'm pretty sure that McCaffrey would still be in there playing because that's what happened in previous weeks.
It's just
Unless
crazy.
and like Shanahan has talked about it, like playing competitive. Oh my god, this is
Competitively.
competitively. Like late in those games, there are being like blowouts versus like serious teams to just establish that mindset, and it has really shown that is like he only let the foot off the brake when the Cowboys were basically like down and out, like old man type of stuff, like stay down, old man type of stuff. So yeah, like it's
When are
not
you
even a
gonna
concern.
learn this lesson, old man?
It's starting to feel like that with the Cowboys and the Niners. And I guess like the last injury is the one that popped up right before the show started. But James Conner is going on IR right now.
Oh no, not James Conner. Oh man, didn't you say he was a perennial RB1? Oh
No,
no.
RB2, RB2.
RB2. Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, it's only injury that is knocking him because he clearly had like the whole volume. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, at this point, you sort of like take James Conner, but you know he will be out a few weeks. This time it's just happened to be four. I believe last year it was less amount of weeks. I believe it was only two, if not mistaken, that he missed. Yeah, this year it's gonna be four. So, but when he yeah last year he missed 3 games. So it's just like what do you have to do? You draft him. He's your running back two for the season, and he misses like 3 games, 3 or 4 games. And yeah, whenever he's back in your lineup because the like who is that guy? Yeah, Murray Demarcado is certainly not a guy who will take touches away from him when he's back. So
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know who the running backs are on the Cardinals outside of
it's Emari Demercado. So it's probably cousin to Mario and Luigi.
Oh, Jesus, that's rough.
Okay, and yeah, I believe that's most of the injuries right now. That's the most significant ones at this point.
That's
So
it's unfortunate.
like this was a
All right.
pretty bad day for fantasy.
Yeah, it was. All right. Let's start the new segment. Are you ready, Alex?
Shoot.
Kyle Pitts or
Okay. You actually picked like a really bad way to start the segment because he just had his best week of the
I
season. So
know. He did. He did, unfortunately. But it's okay because we can dunk on him for being beat out by Jono Smith consistently.
but at this
Okay.
point, it's actually like not bad because you will be able to make fun of me when I pick him over guys who I clearly shouldn't pick him above just because he had a good week. So I already know that's gonna happen.
Kyle Pitts or TJ Hawkinson?
EJ,
Thank you. Kyle Pitts or Sam Laporta?
Kyle,
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts.
What's You're not buying the Laporta hype?
I mean, I was on Laporta's camp like prior to the season. I said he would be the tight end one of this rookie class. He would be the one who outscored every other rookie tight end. But yeah, I mean, like they're the same age. Pitts is more of a veteran right now in the NFL. Like
Right.
the scheme isn't super great for him, but he will be on I believe it's fourth year of his rookie deal. So at this point, they either pay him or let him walk. And if he walks, I mean, I think he's going to be better off in pretty much every single other team. So I would
Okay.
stick to Kyle Pitts.
Okay, I'm going to do two more tight ends, then switch up positions.
Okay,
Kyle Pitts or George Kittle?
Kyle Pitts for sure.
Kyle Pitts or Dalton Kincaid?
Oh, Kyle Pitts for sure.
Then Dalton Kincaid?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a lot closer than people think it is.
It is like on Keep Trade Cut. I think he like when we did this last week. I believe he was ahead of
Okay.
yeah.
So
Last week
now
he
I'm in
was.
keep Keep Trade Cuts, and I'm going to name you players at different positions who are in the same tier as Kyle Pitts. And this is
Okay.
going to really depress you.
Okay, so around the same amount of points, I guess. That's what you're gonna look at.
No, I'm on Keep Trade Cut, and like they tier it off like tier one, tier two.
Oh, every single position. Okay, okay. I got it.
Kyle Pitts or Nico Collins?
Can you imagine that? Can It's funny because when you laugh, like your laugh sort of cuts off for a while. So the laugh is like in between. I only hear you laugh sometimes. But yeah, can you imagine that being a thing last year? Oh, that was an actually like perfect use of that sound. Can you imagine that being a thing last year? Like,
Who you got,
o-
man?
okay, I'm still gonna take Kyle Pitts. because
Kyle
it's dynasty, and I'm pretty sure that they had like a true wide receiver one that like messes up that old wide receiver core.
Kyle Pitts or George Pickens?
That's actually an interesting one because I'm not sure if I wouldn't accept that trade if you send it.
George Pickens is actually a tier above Kyle Pitts on keep trade cut.
Okay. But it should be close. No.
Yes, it's close. Yes, it's close.
Okay. I'm actually kind of torn on that one because, like, on one end, I sort of want to say Pickens, but on another, like,
I think I'd take Pickens in that deal.
yeah. But it's like, do I wanna like trust the guy who's with Matt Canada? But on the other end, do I want to trust the guy who like Arthur Smith thinks like didn't give him an happy birthday when he had his birthday? Uh, kind of tough for me here. I would probably say Pickens.
Kyle Pitts and this guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy is 4 tiers above Kyle Pitts right now.
Ooh.
Kyle Pitts or Puka Nakua, 4 tiers above him.
Like Puka Nakua, I know that like when he played like to start the week, I actually like messed around and like threw a few like taunts out there because like in the first drive, Cooper Cup had like 6 targets and Puka had 2. So I was like, maybe like Puka's role isn't that safe. And then he ends like the week with 11 to Cup's 12 targets. So like, is this like sustainable? So yeah, I'm gonna take Puka, not because I think that Puka like year will be sustainable and he will be this good all year, but because I think that other people think so. So if I got Puka there, I would be able to flip him for more than Kyle Pitts. But like in
Yeah,
terms of
I can
talent,
see
I
that.
still think like Kyle Pitts cleared him like easily.
Okay. So now here's what's really going to depress you: the running backs. Kyle Pitts or Kieran Williams.
Like there's no way anyone like picks Kyron Williams. Like surely. Like it's Kyle Pitts for me by quite a bit.
Kyle Pitts or Javante Williams.
Now that's an interesting one because if you remember, Javante was my running back one that year.
He was.
He was. Yes,
Unfortunately, during that draft, the correct answer was don't pick a running back.
yeah, it was. Not that year at least. I guess you sort of want Etienne now. You know
Yeah, I guess that's true.
you don't want Najee, that's for sure.
Najee's 24 going on 40.
Najee is closer to being like if he was a wide receiver, he would be the one that got that message from like Joey Porter Jr. He would be like, "Go be a family man."
Like, oh, be a fan.
Oh, but yeah, okay. So you mentioned Javante or Kyle Pitts. Javante is almost 24 years old. Hmm. And Javante is on his third year of his deal, I believe. The first one is he on his third deal of the rookie deal? Third year of the rookie deal? I believe
Who?
so. Javante.
Javante? Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would go with Kyle Pitts there as well.
Okay. Now I'm going to do a few quarterbacks. One with super flex, and then I'm going to check him out. Not in. Well, I'm going to check him. This has all been one quarterback. I'm going to go to super flex and then see what quarterbacks he's on tiered with super flex because the only one non is actually really interesting. Kyle Pitts or C.J. Stroud.
Ooh, that's
That's in
interesting.
one quarterback.
Okay, in one quarterback. Okay.
Yep, Kyle
That's
Pitts or CJ Stroud.
that's interesting actually. Stroud has been pretty solid right now and playing with very like not elite talent around him. Oh, I would probably, I would probably still take Kyle Pitts because I think he can be more of a difference maker at his position than Stroud at his.
Okay. And in Superflex, the only quarterback in the same tier as Kyle. Oh, this is going to really depress you. Kyle Pitts or Kyler Murray?
I'm still gonna take Kyle Pitts because Kyle Pitts at least plays football, not Call of Duty. So
Oh man, those are some pretty rough names to be associated with there, Alex.
it is. It is.
Mhm.
It is. It's not
Oh how the
it's not a great look.
oh how the mighty have fallen.
It's not great.
So wait a minute, you're telling me right now? Okay, let's say because again, Keep Trade Cut does have a tier separated. Let's say I said I'd give you George Pickens for Kyle Pitts in a second. Would you do that? Yay, nay?
Uh, I don't think I would. I
You
think
don't think so? Okay,
a
that's fair.
third would be what I could do, like at the top.
Interesting.
And that's probably better for you.
Is it? George
Uh,
Pickens right now is like knocking on the wide receiver one door this year. I hope you know that.
in terms of what
Production, in terms of production.
product, yeah, like in terms of points, of course, like Pickens will
Yes.
outscore Pitts, but like what those points do for you,
This guy.
I that's always the angle I look for when I send you trades. It's like because like for those who haven't been following along, Angelo traded me what's currently the 102, and the team who has the 102 is like is worse than his team at this point. So it's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
like it's gonna be real close, if not like almost like a win for me here because I don't see a way in which like the current 102 doesn't finish the season as the 101. So that's why I always look at trades that way for you because I know you want to keep the 101.
So let's talk about something you said. I believe you said this off air. You said that there's Marvin Harrison Jr. and then there's no one with similar hype as um, Justin Jefferson other than Marvin Harrison Jr. Justin Jefferson didn't exactly have hype coming out of his class.
I
If I'm
believe
not mistaken, he was barely a top 10 pick in the rookie draft that we did.
no, what I said is that Justin Jefferson right now is like the cream of the top, and although Marvin Harrison Jr. has a lot of hype, as much hype as Jamar Chase, I don't think that they should be a one for one value type of guy. I'm not saying that Jefferson had all of that hype. I'm saying that Marvin Harrison has Jamar Chase type of hype, and that's what put like Jamar right at the top of the wide receivers even before he was drafted. He was a top three, top four wide receiver before he was drafted. So although like when drafting season comes, I believe like Marvin Harrison Jr. will be a top five wide receiver before he plays an NFL snap. Top five dynasty wide receiver before he even plays a wide receiver snap in the NFL. I don't think like he should be a one for one type of trade with a guy like Chase or Jefferson or any of those guys because he hasn't proven himself in the field.
Sure.
Now, if you want to trade me Chase for Jefferson,
This guy.
that
I'm telling
guarantees
you,
you the
I'm
101.
telling you that it doesn't though. I'm telling you that deal benefits you more than it benefits me.
I'm not sure. Did you
I
see the
am.
difference? The both of them have in Superflex when you toggle the Superflex thing on. Did you see
I
the
did not.
difference? Go check it because the difference is actually like quite staggering.
It shouldn't be that high. It should be like 999 to like 9996.
But it isn't.
Oh, it's 999 to 8. Okay, that's before the blow up game though. Let's be fair.
Um,
Yes. Stop it.
I mean, I can tell you right now. It was so the blowout game was on what?
Literally
October.
Sunday.
Okay, October 8th, right? He
Yeah.
jumped like almost 1,000 points from October 8th. He was 7,848 points on October 8th. And then the blowout game happened, and now he's 8,415 dynasty value points. So he jumped almost 1,000. So I guess that's already factored in. What might not be factored in is the injury to JJ, but I'm not sure if it will ever like truly be a factor. I mean,
It has to.
he dropped like 100 points, not even that much. He dropped like 90 points in value between yesterday and today, or during today, actually. Today he lost like 90 points of value. So he's gonna be set in stone there. I don't think like there's not really anything that changes his value, unless like Chase says like two more blow up games back to back. I don't think like he will surpass JJ this season as the wide receiver one. So yeah,
We'll
if
see.
you look at those two and you make them in like a trade, I was actually surprised by the difference because I thought it would be like fair, and it is fair if you don't toggle Superflex. Um, but
Wait,
if
why
you,
is the difference so huge in Superflex? I wonder.
I always think it's because Superflex is more up to date. It's ranked more. There's more people inputting information for Superflex than it is for non-Superflex. So I think that's the difference.
Hmm.
It's not really that like they are worth this much of a difference in Superflex versus regular leagues. It's just that people rank that more. So the difference they have between those two, it's like Calvin Ridley. It's just nuts. Like if anyone sent me like Chaser and Ridley for Justin Jefferson, I don't think like my phone would survive the amount of taps I would put on him.
Oh man. I don't know. I'm think maybe I'm just a bit. Well, that could be the Bengals homerism too.
Well, that is true.
That I,
That is
I
fair.
I'm a bit higher on Chase than you know, and that's fine. So, is there anyone you want to do? Is there any player you want to dunk on that I like that you want to do? This player or
It's actually tough because the guys who you planted your flag on aren't doing too bad, I guess.
yeah,
I mean, I guess I can do one, but at this point, it's just like, is it
well,
even
beating the dead
worth
horse.
it? Yeah, because I can just like say, for example, how do I make this show me? Yeah, okay, it's here. I can just ask you like Terrence Marshall or, but at this point, I am not
Yeah,
even sure if that's like something you even care about. I mean, it should probably be because you really like the guy. You have him
yeah,
everywhere. Or
I do.
I actually can do a better one. I
A
can do
Terrence Marshall true through here.
I can do a Rashad Bateman or
Oh, that's gonna be painful.
so I'm gonna do a Rashad Bateman or guys in the same tier as him. So he's on tier
Oh
15 if
no!
not mistaken.
Oh
So
no!
Rashad Bateman or Rondale Moore, which is actually another guy you like. So
Oh, Rondale Moore.
and now I'm gonna do a tier above him. So Rashad Bateman or Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt. Oh no. Oh yeah. Give me Bateman. Give me
And another wide receiver.
Jalen Hyatt. Oh
And
man.
he's above him. He's above Bateman right now.
I know. I heard you. I
And
heard you.
I guess I'll say another Giants wide receiver. No, Rashad Bateman or Wandale Robinson.
One tail is high.
It is.
Oh man. Oh, just give me Bateman. I guess at this point, I'm a Bateman truther.
I guess I can move on to running backs now. So Rashad Bateman or another one of your favorites, Cam Akers.
Oh, that's double hurt. Oh, at this point, give me Bateman.
And a guy that you really didn't like out of college, and he's currently quite a bit of Bateman, but Rashad Bateman or Zach Moss.
Oh my! Wow, that's rough. These are tough times indeed. These are tough times indeed. Bateman. Oh my
And
God.
and another no, okay, I'm gonna go at tight end now. So Rashad Bateman or a guy around this tier is it's actually like quite David Njoku.
Ooh, probably Njoku actually.
We just keep saying that like Njoku might be a thing. It's one of those things that you tell yourself and you hope
Eventually
that
it'll
it
happen,
happens. Yeah,
okay? Eventually it'll.
eventually. It's just on what 6 years in the NFL. Never happened.
He's got the talent.
Oh,
He's
sure
really
thing.
good.
It really should start showing it though.
He really should. Oh,
And if you toggle Superflex on, there's two QBs here. No, actually, yeah, two QBs here. So, Rashad Bateman or Jimmy Garoppolo.
no, you did not just say that.
Your guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, currently ahead of him in Superflex. In the same tier, though.
Give me Bateman. Jimmy Garoppolo, guy.
Actually, I have two more QBs in Superflex. So, uh, Rashad Bateman or Joshua Dobbs.
Oh, stop it. You know, at this point, Joshua Dobbs might be pretty bad at getting the Cardinals a top pick.
He might. There's so many QBs that I could do here that would just make you pull out some hair. But I'm. Who did you pick in that?
I'm going Bateman, but Dobbs is doing really bad at securing the Cardinals his replacement. Dobbs replacement.
Okay, and 30 points ahead. 30 points between him and Bateman. Would you prefer Bateman in Superflex? Bateman or the Zach attack, Zach Wilson?
Honestly, at this point, I might prefer Zach Wilson.
As you should. The Zach
Stop.
attack is back. His value doubled in like 1 week. I'm not gonna tell you how what his value was, but it doubled in in a week.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just
Its value like was 1,000 a week ago. So just for context, guys around 1,000 points are like a 2025 early Ford or Hunter Renfro or Demi Brown. So yeah, that was about Zach Wilson's value, and now it doubled. Now you can get a full
no,
Rashad Bateman for him.
a full Rashad Bateman. I
And this is a fun segment.
think it is
Really,
too.
really can just put the finger deep in the wound, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apply pressure until it hurts.
Okay, so regarding the games, do you have anything like any fantasy performance you want to talk about?
Jamar Chase like won multiple people. Well, not me, but he won multiple people. Well, he did it one league, but he won multiple people leagues this week.
You did. Like, there's, yeah, I don't think like you can. Maybe you can. Like, could you like in the draft? Could you have built a team like Hill, Chase, DJ Moore, Justin Fields in non-superflex?
If
Uh,
you had DJ Moore and Jamar Chase this week, you like broke your league scoring record.
like those four combined in like most of our leagues, probably. I mean, DJ at 40, Fields at 30 something, Hill at 30 something, so that's 70 plus 40, that's 110 plus Chase. I mean, that's
That's
165.
160.
That's 160 to 165 between those four players. So
That's pretty.
that's probably wins like most leagues,
It probably does win most leagues.
especially if it's
That's
like start I don't know start 8, start 7. That wins you the league right there and there.
pretty much. I don't know, man.
Apart from that, I guess George Kittle, he had a game, career week. But again, it's the same thing that we mentioned at the start of the season. Like the targets aren't really there, the yards aren't really there. But I mean, he scored 3 touchdowns, so he had a boom week. I mean, he had like 4 targets, caught 3 of them, had 67 yards, and scored 3 touchdowns. So I mean, if he's gonna have days like that every single week, then we were wrong. But I doubt it because he hasn't really been that good for fantasy.
Yeah.
And I guess we can talk about how good is David Montgomery.
Crazy. Yeah. Actually, that's why I sent an offer in for Jameer Gibbs because, like, don't get me wrong. I think if you're a Gibbs owner, like another few weeks of these Montgomery performances, and you're just like completely demoralized. But do you, so here's the question: you're a Gibbs owner, right?
A Montgomery owner.
Mc- no, you're a Gibbs owner.
Oh, if I was a Gibbs owner?
If you were a Gibbs owner,
Okay, okay.
how many more David Montgomery weeks like this would you have to see before you're like, yeah, I probably should get out now before uh
I don't think it's David Montgomery weeks that scare me. What would scare me away from Gibbs is more weeks in which he's not involved to the extent that I expect. Like, if the game plan continues to be like run him between the tackles, don't throw him the ball in space to make him make plays, if that trend continues and he's not used in the way that he should, a guy like him should, then I would be worried. But, like, I think both of them can succeed in that backfield. So, like, Montgomery being good doesn't scare me away. What would scare me is the usage of Gibbs. But as long as he keeps getting like the passing down work and he's running routes, I just need him to use them there because he's so electric that when he gets the ball in his hands, he just can make things happen. And like to be fair, like okay, he didn't have like the start that most would hope for a guy of his stature.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he hasn't been bad. Like he has like 8 fantasy points, 12.6 fantasy points, 9.2, 9.1, and he missed week 5. Like he is running back 32 on the season with missing a week, so that average should be probably around what a low end running back 2 in our 16 team
Yeah.
league. So
Yeah. Probably.
it's not gonna kill you unless you expected them to just completely dominate touches, which I never did. I always thought that Montgomery would be pretty involved, especially.
I don't think the case for Gibbs was he was going to dominate touches. I think the case for Gibbs was he was going to be so efficient with his touches and he was going to get more of the high leverage touches as far as fantasy is involved, like pass catching, that it would make up for that.
And to be frank, he has like 18 targets in 4 games.
Right.
It's not bad, and I mean, he almost scored a touchdown versus KC in the first game of the season. It just slipped on the field. If he scores that touchdown, I mean, he's a solid running back too. It's not gonna kill you any week because he's involved in the passing game. The only week in which he didn't had like a crazy amount of 2 weeks, I guess. For the first week of the season, he only had 2 targets, but the Lions were reportedly trying to get him like going slowly because of the injury that he had in camp, I believe. I know I'm not sure if it was an injury or just trying to get the rookie going slowly. And then like Seattle, he had 9 targets versus Green Bay, he had 5 targets, and I believe he didn't even play the full game. He only played like 37% of the snaps. And then versus Atlanta, he handled like 17 carries, so he only had 2 targets because he had to play more of the Montgomery role, which he's not really great at, and he still managed to get like 4.71 yards per carry. So, I mean, I think he's doing well with his touches. I think those touches should ramp up over the week, but like if people are like scared of him, I would be pretty willing to buy him. But I'm not sure if you're gonna find that many people that want to sell him. It's my take.
Hmm.
And I also realized that I have him in more leagues than I thought. So I can't really buy him in most places.
You can't really buy him. But that's kind of my thing. Like I think I want to try to acquire him because maybe he's a value, especially if it because if you look on Keep Trade Cut, he's tanking. He's like hemorrhaging value right now. So
Hmm. I mean, he was
maybe
running back 3 or 2 a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, he was running back
yes.
3 before this weekend.
Where is he now? Because he was pretty down on that list
8.
when I
Running back
looked.
8.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's hemorrhaging, dude. So I kind of want to see if I can take advantage of that, but it seems like the people that we're in leagues with don't. Like
Well,
I don't know if it's sunk cost fallacy or they don't get nervous until it becomes playoff time and they're in the playoffs, I guess.
I mean, in the leagues that we're both together in, I think I just don't have him in at least like dynasty leagues. I don't think I have him in the 16 team league, and I don't think I have him
You
in
don't.
the 32 team league. I have him in the Star Wars league and in the Manning league.
That's interesting.
And like I'm not really that worried about him. I have tried to move him for redraft in one of my leagues, but that's because I need to win, and I don't think he will be like top tier effective until like midway through the year, and at that point it might not matter for me. So
Right. You gotta get him to playoffs.
yeah, and I'm 1-3-1, so not great.
Not great at all.
Yeah. I should be 2-3. But yeah, that tie last week, the week 4, wasn't
Yeah.
great.
That's right. Last week you came on here and said it's possible to tie. You educated everyone that it is possible to tie in fantasy.
Yep. I have no clue.
I had no.
And this week I think I have a pretty tough. Oh no. This week I actually might be okay this week because my opponent doesn't have Richardson right now. So he lost his starting QB. He does have Stroud though, but Stroud doesn't have Richardson ceiling.
This guy.
For fantasy, he doesn't. I mean,
That's true.
like Richardson, like played a quarter in week 2 and he scored 17 points with like 10 passes thrown. So
Yeah, rushing upside is just ridiculous in fantasy. Well, yeah,
yeah,
in fantasy.
yeah. He does like I just can't have a break. Like he has AJ Brown and Jalen Waddle and Josh Jacobs and Debo Samuel, so I'm expecting like those guys all to go off as per usual.
As per usual. Wait, is
Oh,
that in redraft?
yeah, redraft.
They got all that in redraft?
Oh, he finessed the guy for Jacobs. Like guy
Okay.
panicked after like 3 weeks, and he
I love
traded
it.
Jacobs for Jordan Addison and Matt Breida. Like, hmm, okay.
I mean, Jordan Addison looks like a wide receiver one now. So.
Yeah, that's probably not worth Josh Jacobs alone. Especially like
That's
since
fair.
since he traded Jacobs, Jacobs had like what back-to-back weeks of 20 points. He had 27.9 in week 4 and 19.9 in week 5. I really need to win this week though, so I need to make moves. My team is like sort of okay. I don't have like I need a running back too because I have Herbert, I have Gibbs, and I have ETN, and then I have Amon Ra, I have CD, I have Metcalf, and I have Hollywood Brown.
How's Amon Ross St. Brown been doing? I haven't actually been keeping tabs on him because I don't have him in very many leagues.
He has been doing fine. He didn't play last week because of a ribs injury, but
Uh-huh.
he's probable to play in week 6. But I mean, he had 19.1, 14.2, 19.6, 16.6. He's doing Amon Ra things, getting like 7 to 12 targets a game and just going off of that.
Yeah.
Amon Ra things.
Amon Ross things. Pretty good.
Yeah, and I picked like Hollywood Brown off of the waivers, and he's like running back to wide receiver 12 on the season. So, as we all predicted,
As we all predicted. This guy.
like it's actually crazy how consistent he has been. Like since his week 1, in which he only scored like 8.7 points, which led him to be dropped in my league. He has scored 17.4 points, 17.1 points, 16.6 points, and 16.1 points. From a guy who, like, this was an auction league, and he cost $4.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just that. Well, once again, one of the things with fantasy, you need to find value where people are low. That's honestly the biggest fantasy hacks. That's why like you obsessively offer trades because you're trying to find values where people are, underselling their players.
Yeah. That's what I tend to do.
Yeah,
Uh, I do need to find, like,
you
I need
scavenger.
to find, yeah. I need to find, like, I've been slacking on trades. I need to find, like, something to do in both the Nas League, the NFFL League, and this redraft league that is going down the drain. So,
I was actually shocked when I looked at your team. It does I don't know what happened. Like it doesn't look as like honestly when we were having this conversation when I was trying to sell you on Chase being more valuable than Jefferson. Like when you told me you haven't been the number one seed for the past like 5 years, I was literally floored. I'm not gonna
it was
lie.
it wasn't the best 5 years. I wasn't the number one seed last. I was the number one seed last year. I wasn't the year prior, and I don't think I was in 2020 either.
How?
Because injuries were played a part in it, I believe.
Just
Like I actually went nine. How many weeks do we play? I always forget that. But I think I went either. I think I went 9-4, if not mistaken. We play 13 weeks, so 9-4 tracks. Yeah, I went 9-4 in 2021, if not mistaken.
Is that okay? That's the year you had rookie Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Uh, that was the year. Yeah, I had second year Justin Jefferson and rookie Jamar Chase. Yeah, and I went 9-5 because I just realized we play until week 14 because we're nuts.
Because we're nuts, exactly.
But yeah,
But no,
I
I
mean,
mean, look, I mean, I just looked at your, and granted, you had buys. The Seahawks buy, I'm sure. Yeah, the Seahawks buy hurt you pretty bad because Lockett. You have Lockett and Metcalf. I don't know
and
why,
Walker.
and Walker.
So I
So,
lost three starters.
so you could say you lost this game on buys. But I looked at your lineup, and it's Anthony Richardson, James Cook, Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson, Sky Moore, Chris Olave, Darren Waller, Montgomery, Watson. Like, that's all right. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you see like lineups and that's I guess that's the dissonance is like when I saw lineups like Travis Kelsey, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Rodgers. Like it just hits different. I'm sorry, it just hits different.
Yeah, I think like part of the issue is the bias because if you look at the team now, if everyone was healthy, I mean, if everyone was healthy, it would be like Jefferson, Olave, DK Metcalf,
I'm
and
surprised you
then
haven't hit Austin about Spears with Derrick Henry.
about who?
Tajay
Oh,
Spears.
oh, Taji Spears. Okay. Because like I really don't want to invest a whole lot in that backfield.
Ah, you don't want to invest in the Maury Titans either.
Yeah, and I think as the year goes on, snow comes in, Henry gets more usage. I
No,
think Spears is gonna like save him for late
one
in the
sec.
season.
I'm gonna stop real quick. All right, we're back. Go on with Spears.
Yeah, I mean like Spears, I kind of like him. I don't like the fact that he doesn't have knees. Like he suffers from the same thing that Gurley suffered. So I don't expect him to hold on longer, and I also think like he's just basically like he's being used more now to save Derrick Henry for the late in the season in the snow games when
Mm-hmm.
Henry truly becomes a beast. So he was injured last year, I believe. Derrick Henry, he went out. If wasn't it last year? I believe that he went out with an injury to end the season. Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry. He No, it was the year prior. The year prior in 2021, he did suffer like an injury that knocked him out like from week 8 onwards. He just didn't play the rest of the year. So I don't think they want a repeat of that. I still think they're trying to compete somewhat, and they have Hopkins who looks pretty good. So I think they want to save him for later in the season when he's more effective. To be honest, that's
That's
why I
fair.
haven't really done anything for Henry. I've just like let him ride.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
So teams change. That's obvious. The I'll use the Bengals as an example. The Bengals offense was bad until it wasn't. So what teams would you start like keeping an eye on to try and acquire assets early in a possum a possum a possible blossoming offense.
For this year. I mean, let me take a look here at the teams.
And it doesn't have to be like would you target Houston? Do you think Houston is a future top 5 offense in the making?
This year?
Not this year. I mean
Oh,
future.
just the future. Okay, for
Yeah, yeah.
Dynasty
Not
then.
this year. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, not. I mean, unless they get. But the thing is, for me to Houston to hit those levels, they would probably need to have a like great wide receiver one, and at that point, that probably like kills the value of the other wide receivers in that team. Unless you're just gonna target Stroud, but at this point, he's pretty expensive, so
Yeah,
probably
true.
not worth it. I would say. I would say like before the season, I was pretty against Garrett Wilson as a top 5 wide receiver. And with Zach Wilson taking over, like his value has dropped a bit. I mean, he's wide receiver 7 right now on Keep Trade Cut.
Hmm.
And like he's on a tier below like a CeeDee Lamb and a AJ Brown receiver
Hello.
3 on Keep Trade Cut. Um, so I would think like the Jets, not for like the future actually, but like throughout the season, I do expect them to be a better offense than people are giving them credit for.
So you're going for your Brees Halls, you're going for your Garrett Wilsons.
Yeah, Brees might be a bit harder to acquire right now, but I think you can probably
Yeah, he
acquire
is.
Garrett Wilson right now. And because like he
Let's
hasn't been hyper productive except for like the KC game, he hasn't been hyper productive. But Zach is trying to find that link more and more, so I think he's a solid target.
fair.
What offenses are you
Hmm.
looking at?
So I think the Kyle Pitts thing has really like opened my eyes. I could give some obvious answers, like obviously, if you're okay playing the waiting game, the Atlanta offense is a quarterback away from looking very enticing. Because I think as the season wanes, I think Kyle Pitts is going to drop more in value. Believe it or not, I do think there's another tier that he could fall. Plus,
And
I
and they
I
just
think
traded for a wide receiver this like yes today I believe.
which one?
Van Jefferson, the Rams wide receiver.
Rams are just interesting. So I think Drake London definitely could fall further. So I think in the future, I think if you're willing to play the wait game, Pitts and London are perfect assets to acquire, especially if you can draft the eventual quarterback they get. That'd be a nice sneaky stack. I think Pittsburgh's offense is like a few coaching changes away from being really good. It definitely has like flashes, and I don't think Kenny Pickett is as bad as people make him out to be.
Would you say like the Colts offense is a sneaky one to pick
No,
pieces on? No, you still don't buy the Colts.
unless you like. Do you like the Bears offense?
No, I don't.
Okay, then I don't like the Colts also.
I
I mean,
mean,
if I had
yeah,
Anthony Richardson, like,
but like I think Anthony Richardson has shown me more in his like first year than Fields has in his first 3. So, and in like 2 games and like what a quarter, I think he has shown me more than Fields did in the first 3 years.
here's kind of the weird thing about mobile quarterbacks. I know we all want them and we say they're like this cheat code for fantasy points, and they are. But generally speaking, it's very rare that you find a mobile quarterback tethered to a wide receiver one. Like it's really rare. I think Jalen Hurts might be the only example I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean, I guess
Lamar,
you can say Anthony Richardson. I mean, he has Josh Downs, so
stop it, because you have Justin Fields and DJ Moore, but that's not. You have Lamar Jackson, and Lamar historically has not.
that's like Dollar Tree shop version of Hurts and AJ Brown.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm really struggling to think of a mobile quarterback who you would want in fantasy tethered to a good wide receiver, and I'm
oh,
struggling.
you are, you really
Josh
are.
Allen,
Yeah, Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen, I guess.
Yeah,
Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen
with Diggs.
is the example.
He's yeah.
Outside
So
of
I
that,
don't
I
know.
mean, I guess you can say Daniel Jones and whoever the wide receiver is that is catching the ball.
Would you target the Giants offense?
I saw a stat today on Twitter, and that's probably why I wouldn't touch the Giants. But I can find it. Yeah, I can find it here. So the most pressures given up by an offensive line last season was 212. The Giants are currently on pace for giving up 326 pressures.
So they just plan on smoking that record, is what you're saying.
They are just like no one in that in that offensive line likes Daniel Jones apparently. So they're just letting the rushers go through.
So I forgot the name of the podcast. I think it was Just Good Sports, where he reviewed the Seahawks Giants game. And he showed a play because apparently the Seahawks got credit for 11 sacks.
They did
And,
most
which is crazy.
in franchise like single game history, I think.
Which is crazy to think about. But they showed this play where it was a like quarterback pitch to a wide receiver, and apparently the wide receiver, it was like basically like a flicker to the wide receiver. And the wide receiver who was supposed to be able to throw the ball was hit immediately as soon as the pitch came. And that was credited as a
Oh
sack.
yeah, I saw
And
that.
and like it's just that bad, dude. Like it's really just that bad.
It's
Like
terrible. It's why I'm even sort of like reluctant to target Saquon at this point, and I have him in one league and one league alone, and I just know I can't move him right now. So I'm just holding and praying. But I'm not actually like targeting Saquon at a reasonable price right now because that offensive line is that bad.
pretty bad offensive line, dude.
And now he has the ankle sprain, which usually draws away from the speed of the player. So it's not great.
Is Saquon the like most saddest example of an elite talent being like wasted?
Probably. I guess I would say, but he did have some sort of success. But so did Saquon. I would say Megatron is probably up there.
Megatron. Oh yeah, maybe.
Because, like, okay, he had like what was it like two playoff trips in which they didn't win a game, but so did like Saquon. Saquon also had playoff trips, so and I believe he won a game. I believe they won last year. So yeah,
Oh,
I think Megatron would be it. And you were mentioning like Drake London. I actually have a trade for one of my Drake London shares, I guess that's what you can call it, in the 32 team league, which makes it sort of hard to evaluate. But I got offered the first, who should be like pick 20 or lower, and then a fourth and a fifth in 2025. The fourth is in 2025, the fifth is 2024 for Drake London.
say that deal again.
It's a 2024 first, which should be
2020.
20 or lower in the 32 team league. So
Uh huh.
2024 fifth and a 2025 fourth for
That's
Drake London.
crazy. That's crazy low, dude.
Yeah, I just I haven't been able to like decline it, but I'm not gonna take it. So it's just gonna stand there for a while.
That's just crazy, dude.
Yeah, it is. I can probably get a bit more if I counter. Like guy usually like goes super low ball to start, so I think I would
Mhm.
get more. But at this point, like I probably don't really need to do that. I think he can just sit on the bench for a while. I could use the money next year, but that's about it. Because I went bananas and traded for Miles Garrett.
You went bananas and traded for. Wait. Miles Garrett got. Did you give him the valuation of two firsts?
Uh, I gave him Odell Beckham, which in this league, I guess you can sort of say like
His value is not a first.
his value is probably like nothing because he has a I believe it's a 11 or 12 million dollar cap hit next year, and he looks dusted. And then I sent him Matthew Judon, who's out for the year, I believe. But he should still be able to net you like a fourth or a third next year, probably. So I'm gonna put that about the whole package of Odell and Judon. I would say it's about a third. Then I sent him a 2024 second, which should be late scories. Then I sent him a 2025 second, a 2026 second, and a 2026 first. So it's basically one first, 3 seconds, and a third in
That's
value.
interesting.
And
Interesting.
the main like reaction from the league was that it was a robbery
On whose side?
for me. So that I stole Miles Garrett, and I got really pissed off.
Is it really though? Like,
I
here's kind of the thing. It's really hard to value like a 32 team IDP with like it's just
salary
so
cap
freaking
league.
hard. Yeah, it's just so freaking hard to value people at that point.
Yeah, I think like the trade was fair, but I got pretty pissed off because
I think everyone in that league is just quick to rush to call everything a robbery. That's just
if
me
it's for
personally.
me, that was my point. When it's for me, that is pretty quick to do. And but like for example, TJ Watt was traded earlier in the season, and TJ Watt, who's in my opinion like the best IDP player right now,
Yeah.
because he also has like dual eligibility, so he can be played at either linebacker or defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And he was traded alongside a probably top 12 second this year. So him and a top 12 second this year for Nolan Smith, the edge guy that the Eagles drafted late in the first this year, who hasn't played a snap so far, or who hasn't played a lot this year. He has played a few
Mm-hmm.
snaps. And a 2024 late first. So basically, like Corey got TJ Watt for a move down of like 20 spots, and that was called
Hmm.
fair.
No problem with that.
Yeah. So that's why I got really pissed off the chat. Like I usually like don't really care, but yeah, I got kind of pissed off on with chat about that. It passed on eventually.
It passed.
But yeah, I added Miles Garrett purely because uh, Corey was in on him, and I'm not sure if Corey listens to this, but if he listens to this, I'm kind of scared of your team, dude. So I traded for Miles Garrett because of that.
Traded for Miles Garrett. Yeah, but that's kind of the thing when everything is close, you have to make more moves to stay competitive. That's why I think that this um trade deadline for our 16 league is going to be like it has the potential to be so interesting because we could see counter moves.
I just the thing with our league is just that there isn't a deadline, so
Oh, we can trade in playoffs?
you can trade whenever.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I usually get like a few okay deals in the playoffs because I usually get eliminated early and I can trade players for picks.
Interesting.
Sometimes it goes bad though. Sometimes it goes well. I traded like Saquon for a pretty like small sum for what it was like prior to last year. I traded him for like James Conner and two firsts, which I guess it's okay, but like last season didn't feel okay.
Man, what a year, what a year, what a year, man.
It's like almost halfway through the season. It's like
It's not
it's
really almost. It's like
eh, it's more than a quarter in.
It's more than
what's that? It is more than a quarter in. This is true.
Like for fantasy football, like prior to the playoffs, we are more than a third of the season in actually. And the
Yeah,
season seemed
that
like
makes
it
sense.
started yesterday, so
I know, isn't that crazy?
yeah. By week 7, we are at the midway point of our regular season in our 16-team league.
So we've seen Puka Nakua, we've seen Devon A. Chain. Do you think we see any more ridiculous, like either rookie or like players? We see George Pickens, wide receiver one, happening right now. Do you think we see what do you think the next crazy thing we see that no one saw coming? Give me something crazy.
Rest of season.
Yep, give me something crazy, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a crazy one for sure because of this offense. But I'm gonna say that Tyquan Thornton is actually a viable fantasy option. He comes back from IR this week,
Oh,
if
the
not mistaken.
Patriots!
The Patriots. He comes back from IR this week, if not mistaken. I think he comes out and he's a reliable fantasy option. Like a
Okay.
wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2 rest of season.
So.
Give me your hot take for the rest of the season.
Hmm. I don't like the. See, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of different things that could like. We're still waiting for that Sky Moore explosion game. I'm still holding out hope that Sky Moore is going to be a thing this year.
I actually can give you because you mentioned Sky Moore and they play the Broncos this week. I can give
Oh
you another
God,
one that I think will be like I think this will happen. So I think the Broncos lose this week, and they are in full
Marvin
on sell
Mims.
mode. And yes, they move on
That I think could happen.
Sutton or Judy, and Mims becomes a wide receiver 2 type of guy who has those boom weeks that can give you like 30 points out of nowhere because he's like that
What?
fast and that good of wide receiver.
Here's something crazy, stupid. What if they move Jerry Judy and he just like starts melting faces?
Yeah, I wouldn't really be surprised. Since he came back, I believe Sutton has taken a dip in like routes run and all of that. So I wouldn't really be shocked if that happens. To be honest, Judy has been playing better, and at this point, I was on team they will trade Judy. At this point, I'm on team they probably trade Sutton, but none of them are really really great wide receivers in my opinion. None of them are ones, and I think that's the problem that they have. So my hot take is that Mims becomes the one in that offense, despite having
You
like 2 fumbles this week, if not mistaken.
man, I'm trying to think of some crazy thing because honestly, I could have never seen Puka Nakua happening.
I couldn't either. There's only one person that could see that coming.
Who's that?
His number one fan, apparently. I believe I mentioned this like prior to the season starting. But like there's one guy who's a really big fan of him and he's a pretty known guy, but Dana White is like a massive Puka Nakua fan, I believe.
Really?
Which is like the weirdest timeline. It's like Dana White liking a guy who like was pretty under the radar and played for BYU. But apparently, like Dana saw a touchdown play that he had in BYU or something like that, and yeah, he became a fan of him. And he has sent them like Instagram posts or messages talking about Puka and pumping up to Puka. I mean, I don't know, man. That's like the weirdest link. Like a
Dana
completely,
White, Puka
yeah, like
Nakua, man. That's
completely like under the radar type of wide receiver, and it just has that tied with Dana White. Pretty weird.
all right. All right, I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Okay.
Okay, Justin Jefferson's down in Minnesota.
Okay.
They clearly can't run with Alexander Madison.
Okay.
Well, other than like a game. What if to give us like the falsest hope of all false hope, Cam Akers just comes in like 1 or 2 weeks and has like these ridiculous numbers, like 125 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns 1 week.
If I saw that happening, it would be a true Scooby Doo moment in which I would go near him, like pull the mask, and it's like, "Ha! This is the guy who's in here, not you," because like that's certainly not gonna happen with his knees. Like Cam
It
Akers looks
doesn't sound
dusted.
like it could happen, but this season it could happen because this season doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Like for all the crap that we give Madison, I mean, 2 of the last 3 games he has been solid on. So
Yeah,
he
that
was
is
kind
true.
of like non-existent last week, but that's because they were down quite a bit for a while. The game ended like 27-20, but they were down for the majority of the game, so they really couldn't run a whole lot. But yeah, Akers looks dusted, so I wouldn't expect that. But I also said that Tyquan Thornton would be wide receiver too, so
Yeah.
the Akers take isn't the craziest one in the show so far.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else. Obviously, I think Raheem Mostert with A Chain out is gonna have the melt faces game and then get injured, and then that's what's gonna, start to slow down Miami's offense.
What if Geoff Wilson is actually the guy who
That would
puts
be
an
freaking
end?
crazy. That would be freaking crazy.
But I actually mentioned it on the 32 team league that I thought that this was before the Ashawn injury.
Hmm.
Um, that I thought that Jeff Wilson would be the guy that coming back would stop the crazy rise from Achan because he would be like he would come back and he wouldn't be like super great, but he would steal enough touches because McDaniels likes him to the point in which like A-Chain wouldn't have a higher ceiling than like he currently has. So he wouldn't get like the 15 touches as the season goes on. His like limit would be around 9 to 10
Hmm.
because like every single one of those 3 running backs would be somewhat involved in that run and passing game. So I think Jeff Wilson actually has like a chance to be something here, and he's sitting on a lot of waivers. I have a waiver wire claim on a few leagues for him because like he is like pretty explosive, and he wasn't bad last year as well.
I could see. I mean, Jeff Wilson just like refuses to go away.
He was in there most of last year. And he had these weeks. I mean, I believe he ended the season on. Yeah, he ended the season on like 157 fantasy points, which is good for like top 30 running back. I mean, I think he has a word in that backfield. And he had these weeks. I mean, he had 12-point weeks. He had plenty of double-digit weeks last year. Like, I think it will be a factor more than people want to give him credit for. And like, if Ashawn comes back, like with the same speed and so on and so forth, I think that Wilson puts a stop to that crazy rise. Oh, you want a
Sure.
crazy rumor that is starting right now?
What's that?
This part is not really a rumor, but what comes from this will be a rumor around the league. But the Vikings, they worked out QB Colt McCoy today.
No.
So you can already hear the rumors. Do they trade Kirk Cousins? They lost JJ. If they lose another game, his cousin's out. Popcorn's out.
No way.
I would expect them not to, but also
I mean,
another. Oh, go
you're
go.
the one who said that, you think that Cousins might be this. See, this right here, this is the like thing that makes my whole Justin Jefferson versus Jamar Chase long term case. Stuff like this.
I've seen DeAndre Hopkins having like major success with Tom Savage, so I'm okay.
With Tom Savage, so I'm okay.
Remember that?
I do
Remember
not
when
remember
you did
that.
say like I'm gonna sell Hopkins because I don't think you will sustain the same level of production with Deshaun Watson as he did with Tom Savage?
Yeah,
That's a take.
that's a take. That was rough.
Imagine not saying that. Like people are like,
That was
"Who's Tom Savage?"
that was rough. I forgot about Tom Savage. Little Tommy boy.
I also got like a tweet here. It doesn't really impact a lot of fantasy things, but it's more like a what a player type of tweet. But yeah, this past Sunday, TJ Watt suffered a badly dislocated finger and tore multiple ligaments in the win versus Baltimore. And as any regular human being would do, Watt popped it back in and kept playing,
Of
like
course
through
he
the
did.
injury, like completely destroyed finger. Ligaments are all over the place, and he just pops it back in, puts a glove on it, and wreaks havoc. So yeah,
Of course he did.
TJ Watt stuff.
I can't. I just. I just. I.
Just too good.
There. I could never do that. I could never do what they do. I do not have the pain tolerance to do what they do.
Yeah. A tweet about George Pickens. Uh, that's probably not super great for you, but Salvetri on Twitter just said like the Steelers' offense is 31st in pass protection, 32nd in passing efficiency, and 32nd in passing production. And his advice is sell George Pickens off his big week 5.
This guy.
Are you selling him?
He's 22, dude.
Okay, that's fair.
If you t- Ow! If you told me right now that you do, I mean, Pickens for Pitts is basically just fighting the same fight, right? I mean,
I mean, I don't know if I'm fighting the same fight. I'd rather have the talent.
this guy. No, you wouldn't.
I don't know. Maybe. Have we gone through everything? Because it feels like we've gone through everything.
I think so, yeah. I was actually just gonna look up Pickens and I mean, he surpassed 10 targets in 2 games already. In the games that he didn't surpass 10 targets, it's 7, 7, and 6. He surpassed over 100 yards twice. Like I understand like the lows are pretty low, the 3 receptions for 25 yards and the 5 receptions for 36 yards. That's pretty low. But like the dude is getting volume.
He is. The thing is, like, the quality of targets isn't probably the greatest.
But he's also one of those wide receivers who like just goes up and makes something out of nothing. So now let's go over to your bench tight end, Kyle Pitts. And we go into game log. 3 targets, 5 targets, 4 like
11 targets this past week.
11 targets this past week and 9 targets week 3 against Detroit. And I don't know, man. And how does this man not found the end zone?
He's just allergic to it. But across the last 3 weeks, who do you think has more targets? Pitts or Pickens?
Pitts, because he has 11 and 9 in the span of 2 weeks. But...
I mean, Pickens has 10 and 7. So it might be the Kyle Pitts resurgence.
Stop it.
I don't know. It might be. Who did they play? Oh, they play what? Oh, am I gonna start Kyle Pitts this week?
Stop it.
Am I gonna start Kyle Pitts this week? Because Darren Waller plays Buffalo. Oh, baby. I might have to. Kyle Pitts is in the starting lineup. Let's go.
I think that's all for us, though. If you've got... Oh, wait, you had a question? Let's go.
No. I was just gonna say, hot take of the week.
Let's go.
Kyle Pitts, tight end 1 of the week.
Stop it.
It is gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. But if you've gotten this far, thank you guys so much. If you've gotten this far and haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Like, bruh. We just listened to Alex talk about Kyle Pitts. Gross.
And Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver 2.
Yeah, like this guy with Tyquan Thornton. So, thank you guys so much for listening. We have a cute donate button. Alex, take us off.
Just the regular. If you're listening to us on podcasts, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, just be sure to give us a review, 5-star review, and leave us a written review as well. In there, we always like to read those. And don't forget to subscribe in those as well. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave us a comment there. Also put a like. It's also greatly appreciated. And as always, see you next week, guys. Have a good fantasy football week.
Peace out, guys.